VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
A very good morning and welcome to Adcon Stadium in Port Melbourne. And it is Swiss Wellness VFL Women's Love the Game semi-final day, the final semi-final in the competition, with the winner of today's game having Collingwood await them in a preliminary final next week here at Adcon Stadium. Anthony Stangett's with you. Southern Saints versus Melbourne Uni, our game of the day, broadcasting live on VFL.com.au, the VFL app, and also broadcasting live on SEN2. A very good morning and welcome to our team. Firstly, Blair Morton, welcome back to the broadcast.
Morning, Anthony.
Looking forward to today's clash with a preliminary final on the line.
Yeah, it's a good day for football too. It's a little bit cold, slightly, but not freezing, and the wind's around, but it's not a goal-affecting breeze like we've seen here at Adcon in the last couple of weeks and maybe even yesterday. So, yeah, it's good conditions, and as we've said before in a few recent broadcasts here, the oval at Adcon Stadium, the ground is in immaculate condition, so hopefully we see some great footy today.
Xavier Maloney also joining us. You've been working on the weather for us. We had a rainy day yesterday. Hopefully we don't see too much of that during today's VFLW game.
Morning, Anthony. Fingers crossed. It is a little bit overcast, but breeze not as strong as last week, but they'll still need to be very tactful with the way they move the ball down the ground. Looking forward to the clash today. Melbourne Uni bringing some real momentum into this game, and Southern Saints looking to bounce back.
They certainly are. Looking at the last time these two teams met, and it was round 6 and a 28-point victory to the Southern Saints. So a lot having changed in the lineups since then. Blair, you've just seen the toss of the coin in the middle.
Yeah, Kate Sherlaw on captain's duties today for the Southern Saints. Won the toss. She's kicking to the Williamstown Road end of the ground, which I've just said there isn't a strong breeze. There is a very, very slight breeze, and it is going that way. So she's kicking with a very faint advantage in the opening term. That's left as screen and dial for those listening and watching at home as well.
So looking at yesterday's results, and for those wondering how Collingwood went and the Western Bulldogs 4-2-26 defeated Collingwood 1-8-14. Western Bulldogs direct passage through to the Love the Game Grand Final on September 22 at Icon Park. They will await the winner of next week's preliminary final being played next Sunday here at Adcon Park. And of course, that game between Collingwood and the winner of today's game. Looking forward to the clash. Looking back at last week's results, it was the Southern Saints coming through to this semi-final match after a defeat by Collingwood, and Melbourne Uni last week having a win up against Geelong to win their way through to a semi-final.
As we get close to kick-off today, our umpires on field, we got Harry Birch, Seamus Dundon and Courtney Gibson. On the boundary, James Brayshaw, Kyle Fisher and Jordan King, and in goals we have Patrick Orish and Brendan Maloney on adjudication duties today as we get the final siren before the bounce and the girls take their place. Moments away, Anthony.
Yeah, a few changes to both the lineups this week. Emma Mackey, Courtney Jones and Taylor Grasso coming into the lineup. A late change from the selected teams on Thursday night with Alison Brown out of the Southern Saints lineup and Kate McCarthy coming into the team under an injury cloud after last week's game, but she's back into the team this week. For Melbourne Uni, their changes have been Kim Ebb and Angelina Roan into the team with McDonald and Arundel out, and also a late change for them today with Danielle Hardiman out of the team due to illness, and Holly Whitford a late addition to this team. But we're all set for a start in this semi-final match, Southern Saints versus Melbourne Uni. Blair Morton, get us underway.
And up we go. In the ruck there we had Gillespie Jones from Melbourne Uni who won it out. Saints win it off the deck though. Now they start to converge. In there first is Walsh from Melbourne Uni. Handball came up, found Riddle. She went inbound to Gillespie Jones. Not 15, plays on inside the corridor. Goes out looking in front of Sard. Got there first, got a good tackle from behind on her opponent in Carlson. Ball spilled free. Now it's right in the centre circle and bodies converge. Hacked to kick forward was Vesely. Melbourne Uni get it off the deck, and this is frenetic football, not a clean possession in it yet. And the umpire converges for a ball up. So a really energetic little passage of play there, some nervous energy and a little bit of tension in it. Some clean football will be a big advantage here given those nerves and anxieties around. As we go up again, nothing doing, another ball up. And both teams structured pretty well with lots behind the ball. Up we go again. Ball on the deck. Just rolling forward to the Melbourne Uni line, but behind the ball with the sweeper come the Saints. Handball went to nothing though. Now decked into the ground was Mackey. Big looping handball spills free out in front of O'Neill. Nearly runs onto it, mown down from behind, holding the ball. And a free kick will go to the way of Melbourne Uni. That's via Jenna Bruton, and they can reload from the outer wing.
Interested to keep an eye on how the Southern Saints play Jess Duffin today. I know I can just see Jessica Segenary running with her at the moment, and whether they play Duffin is in defence for Melbourne Uni, whether they play a defensive forward on her after a 10 marks down in the defensive half, and really that quarterback role for Melbourne Uni in last week's elimination final. On the outer side, Bateman with the ball. They go long now. Inside forward 50. And Garner, is she going to be rewarded? She is. And we'll have the first shot at goal in this game. No, centering kick. Ash Riddell straight down the corridor, and will line up for the first major in today's semi-final game. It's a good movement of the football by Melbourne Uni. Now open up this opportunity. They've got their cheer squad behind the goals. Into the city end during the first term. Ash Riddell goes long towards goal and offline to the left-hand side. 3-4-1 behind. And they're quick on the scoreboard here. On the Choose Tab scoreboard, 1 behind, 1 point to Southern Saints, yet to score.
As the Saints come from fullback, they go to the outer side flank underneath the grandstand. Running ball, bombed forward over the line of play, and they were nearly out there, the Saints, save for some very good defensive work from Melbourne University to hold it up on the half-back flank line. A few bodies come in here now on the ground. The umpire had a look for a holding the ball decision. No clean possession off the ground here, and it'll eventually be a ball up. So Saints gain a lot of territory. They're at half forward. As we said, Melbourne Uni did really well to stymie that flow, because one more bounce and kick and they were out the back. This time a whistle's gone here. And a free kick going the way of the Southern Saints at centre half forward. And this is an opportunity to load up inside 50. They do just that. Flying up, mark not taken. Now the ball's on the ground. A couple over it. Handball's up from the deck. Defence desperate. Pulled down in a good tackles Grierson. And a ball up directly in front of St Kilda's goal. 30 metres out.
Some of the matchups down that end. Kim Ebb has the job on Kate McCarthy. And it is Britt Gibson run with roll with Kate Shearlaw today. So a couple of the forward and defensive matchups for both teams.
Nothing doing from that resulting ball up. So another in almost exactly the same place. Real tight press on. Lots of players inside that Southern Saints 50. Streaming out with the ball is Mackey. Kick comes from the stoppage, sprayed across. And that's a minor going the way, I believe, of Voigt, who just slashed one out of the contest, and now Melbourne Uni rebound from fullback.
So the kick in short, find Ash Riddell in the back pocket. She's got Ebb on short. Brings the ball along this outer side wing. Finds Cox. Bringing it now into the centre corridor. Dangerous kick. Mackey tackled and met fiercely by Riddell. Ball in disputed half forward now for the Saints. Good tackling pressure from Walsh. And we will have a ball up. Vesley getting herself up off the bottom of that pack. Watt versus Kate Gillespie-Jones. Carney. Handballs backwards. Grierson got her kick away. Gibson now along this the outer side wing. At the back of the pack, Cox picks up the football. Goes to the centre half forward position. Habitangelo keeps the ball in front of herself, gets the handball away. They go goalward now. Bateman. What will the bounce do? Sard picks it up. Held it up. Round the corner now from Melbourne Uni, but the mark taken on the last line of defence by Darcy Guttridge for the Saints, and the Saints repel.
Guttridge strong there, as you said, Anthony. Goalkeeping. Took a mark on the last line of defence, but coughs it up with a long kick out to centre half back. Melbourne Uni intercept on the flank. They load up. Gillespie Jones from behind nearly takes it. Plucked by Garner. Wheels around the contest. Has a snap. Only gets it as far as Bateman. Mark paid. It travelled 15.1 metres. And she's called to play on now. She wheels around. Has a snap. And that's a goal. Daisy Bateman gets a first of the day for Melbourne Uni. And they race ahead 1-1-7, leading Southern Saints. Yet to score a major 1-behind-1.
So that's twice now the Southern Saints have been caught napping in their defensive 50. Just haven't been close enough to their opposition player. The first shot they had on goal, they were caught napping, just no awareness of the players around them. And once again, Melbourne Uni, too easy for mine.
Yeah, I think you're right, Xavier. As soon as Bateman played on, she took everyone by surprise. And before the Saints knew it, the ball was through the posts. So
the ball heads back towards the middle. Keep an eye on some of those matchups as well. Sard moving back into the ruck, and Gillespie Jones now to centre half forward. And up in the ruck this time, it's Watt v Sard. Trying to get the ball out. The late inclusion in today's team, Holly Whitford. Sard now long kick to centre half forward. And in the front spot, Bateman again. Lively early in this game. Well, push the ball deep inside forward 50. So kicking against a slight breeze during this term. Tilly Lucas-Rod was the player under it. She got the ball away now. Watt, the wide kick. And Bateman again. Talked about racking up the possessions in this first quarter. Goes long to the top of the square once more. Plenty of Saints up. Ball in dispute now. Kick out of defence. And a good mark taken. So Mel Kais kicks in short, finds McCarthy a long way from home from the forward 50. Goes wide along the outer side. Good pressure on by Grierson on that outer side. Right in front of the grandstand. And we will have a ball up. 1-1-7 on the Choose Tap scoreboard. Melbourne Uni. Southern Saints one behind.
As we go up, streaming through the contest was Carney. Couldn't grab the footy. Up and down. Player with the ball at the bottom. Couldn't get it out. And another ball up. So up we go again. Right in the centre of the ground. Just favouring Melbourne University's end. This ball again spills free. Now Saints hack one from the contest. They go to centre half forward. Ball spills from behind. Mopping up centre half back of the Southern Melbourne Uni. Kick comes outside, finds Ebb. She just keeps the ball in front of her, gets a pretty good tackle, does well to get it out. And a snap up the wing, whistle gone.
Too high.
Free kick for too high. Going the way of Ebb, who was juggling the football on the ground, and the tackle coming from behind in McCarthy, adjudicated as too high.
It's actually the second one. Yeah. So it was on Gibson one taken too high in the second tackle.
We're lucky not to be downfield in that case, as the Saints intercept mark at half back, go back inside to the corridor to Courtney Jones, and she gets a nice little kick inbound, gets Mackie. Too far out to score, lobs one up just to the edge of the half-back position, plays on Phillips, runs her measure, puts up the top of goal, and she's got one. Kat Phillips from 45, and the Saints respond.
So we talked before the broadcast, Anthony, around Melbourne Uni going to be really attacking using the corridor. That's the result if it doesn't come off. A quick turnover there from the Southern Saints. They were very fast then to take the ball into attacking position and finish with a goal.
Yeah, quite enjoying that attacking football, playing on, and something that we didn't see too much of in yesterday's game, but both these teams today certainly bringing it. It's an enjoyable football to watch.
And they didn't need it there, but Courtney Munn was out the back and she was free in the goal square. So Kat Phillips' kick was perfect and on target, but had it not been, Munn was there unopposed, so it was a certain goal either way. Good footy from the Southern Saints.
So Saints back in the middle. Trying to extract it. Carney got the handball out. Back in the middle. Good work. They're trying to push it out through Bruton. Bruton now at the back. Kick round the corner. Kat Phillips again in the action. Got her foot to the football. Now, Saints tackled to the ground. Good tackling in the middle by Holly Whitford again. And we will have a ball up. So 1-1-7 apiece. Halfway through this first term at Gon Stadium. Semi-final action. I love the game. Final series. Kick goes forward. Back of the pack. Bouncing football. Will it bounce all the way? It has! What a goal from the middle of the ground. And it has gone all the way for the Southern Saints. And they have kicked their second goal of the game. They move on to 2-1-13 with Melbourne Uni 1-1-7. And again, attacking football from the middle of the ground.
It's good to watch. And Southern Saints will need a few goals on the scoreboard early. We are looking at some rain later on in the second half. The sun's out at the moment, just barely, but a good start from the Southern Saints.
And we think that...
Yeah, Mel Kais with the kick out of the middle.
Lucky kick. Bounce well as up we go again. Ruck work done well. Brought to ground. Saints edge forward. Just getting a tour advantage and getting some heavy contact with Segenary. Now the handball came back with the flight. Gibson did well in defence to get it. Went inside looking for Duffin. She just played the player. Got her away. Mackie keeps it in front of her off the ground for the Saints. Edges forward. Out of bounds throw in on this broadcast wing pocket. And again, the Saints did well. They just move the ball forward, just surge it. Not really a clean contest. No mark or anything like that taken, but they're well inside 50. We've seen their ability to score here as we go back inbound. Rucked from behind, on the deck, little kick comes away. This one's from Stewart, goes to the top of the square, brought down, McCarthy it was. Now we're on the deck, handball comes up, snap from the pocket to the top of the square, just cut off the void kick. And marking plays on, tackled in the goal square was a Melbourne Uni defender. Now the ball's in dispute. Saints hack one off the ground, it's a goal! And it's been plucked by Grazier off the left boot. And Grazier gets the Saints third in a matter of minutes. And they're well ahead here. 3-1-19, Melbourne Uni 1-1-7, who looked so fast out of the blocks, suddenly look like they're in neutral.
What a pushing her way through, Caitlin Greiser, making sure that she kept on almost pushing towards rugby scrum style towards that goal line, and finally got it to her boot, Xavier, and put through that third major in a row for the Saints.
It's been an impressive 10 minutes for the Southern Saints. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going into quarter time.
So ball back in the middle. Just waiting for players in position. Ball up in the centre of Adcon Stadium. Saints kicking with the aid of a breeze to the right of screen during the first term. And infringement goes the way of Carney. Gets it on to Bruton. Bruton for Melbourne Uni. Setting up the play. Plenty of Saints defenders back. Bruton long bomb inside forward 50 into the corridor. Good work by Gillespie Jones. Handballs off Runnels. Kicks it in towards the pocket. Players converge. And Tilly Lucas-Rod just happy to see the ball over the line, and we'll have a boundary thrown in the right forward pocket. So kicking towards the city end against the breeze to the left of screen during this first term. Melbourne Uni. Winner of today's game goes through to a preliminary final versus Collingwood. Gillespie Jones grabbing it out of the ruck. Bruton couldn't get her kick away. Kick long towards goal. Bouncing football. Suits the Saints. They get a dangerous kick up the corridor. What can Melbourne Uni do now? Gillespie Jones is back with her once again. And we will have a ball up 25 metres directly in front of the Melbourne Uni goal. Up in the ruck again. Kelly v Gillespie Jones. Abertangelo goes goalward. Bouncing ball through for a goal. Great roving goal. And put through the second for Melbourne Uni. They move on to 2-1-13, trailing the Southern Saints 3-1-19. That, of course, on the Choose Tap scoreboard. Xavier Maloney.
So once again, the Southern Saints just not getting defensive side in that stoppage area. We just allowed Melbourne Uni to run onto it. Very good goal, though. Great snap.
She just attacked the contest, didn't she, Xavier? She's flying through. Got it first grab. Lovely little snap on the right boot as well. So we get reset here again. We're approaching quarter time. Got a good crowd in here for this VFLW final. And the rucks get set. Sard and Kelly who go at it. Both didn't have a great go at that, but Kelly got the better of it. Got it forward, but now Duffin's got it. She came streaming in from the half-back line to get to the contest. Little kick comes up, going forward to Garner. Just didn't get there first. Instead, it was cut off by O'Neill for the Saints. Her kick again given to Garner. Played a little hot potato. She goes up the ground. Intercept mark not completed there by the Southern Saints and Kelly. And they turn it over again to Bruton. She goes back. Sucks a little bit of time out of this one, Bruton. Nice little chip kick, just 15 metres travelled, goes to Riddell. Riddell again with a little chip, looking for Garner, bodies well. Ended up coughing the mark though, lays a good tackle. The Saints have it. Good little kick, just comes short up the ground to Drennan. Right in front of us here in the broadcast position, inside wing. Drennan goes long up the ground, nearly having to go at it was Voigt. Let it go for Grazier behind her. Voigt should have taken it though, because that Grazier attempt at mark intercepted. And again, a little energetic passage of play here. No clean possession had. Won by the Saints out of the stoppage. Slash forward by Phillips. Phillips bombs inbound to 50. Running onto it, Sherlaw. She keeps it in front of her. Just gains possession. Handballs up. Throwing herself on the ball was Nadia Moore for Melbourne Uni in defence. Umpire's letting this go. Courtney Gibson looked like she was going to give one away there, but elects to ball it up. Directly in front of Melbourne Uni goal. 30 out. Up we go. Rucks go at it. Brought down. It's Riddell who clears it away. Clears it out to her half-back line. It's a foot race between Mackie and Daniek, which the boundary line ultimately won. And a ball up. Outer side flank. 60 out from Saints goal. And the last touch rule's been paid here, so it's the Saints who benefit from a free kick. 65 out. Big long ball comes inbound to 50 from the stoppage, fisted down by Grazier, who couldn't get there to mark it. Melbourne Uni do well off the deck. Again, just the scrum of bodies come on top. Umpire having a look. Melbourne Uni get it out. Finally, a little handball goes to Riddell, whose kick was affected off the boot. Now they're in real danger on the ground. Drennan tackled from behind as she tried to surge forward for the Southern Saints. And a ball up, so some desperate football. Lots of pressure in it. And Southern Saints in attacking areas.
So 18 minutes gone, first term. Fantastic first quarter of VFL women's footy. Sweeping handball goes inside forward 50, but again, Melbourne Uni repel. Gillespie Jones besieged. She tries to get rid of the football, working hard for it as well. O'Neill. Saints unable to push it forward. Ball held up by the Uni defence. Abertangelo and Gillespie Jones in the middle of the ground. And we'll have another ball up, counting down towards quarter time in this contest. As we mentioned, the Saints with a bit of a breeze. Jasmine Garner kicks along up towards that forward 50. Great chain of handballs. Bateman again. Foot race inside forward 50. Will it go all the way? Bateman bouncing ball. Carney keeps the ball in play, but paid as a throw. Oh. She was desperate. And the ball kept in play, giving away the free kick with a throw deemed by the umpire. And the Saints go wide. Go to McDonald. Just over 30 seconds left in this quarter. So crucial pinpoint accuracy now for the Saints. They kick long. Oh, Sheila couldn't hold on to the grab. They got the runners on the outer side. Vesely looks inside the corridor looking for a target, but only finds Britt Gibson in the Melbourne Uni defence. Time ticking away for Melbourne Uni. Intercepted Phillips. Oh, great smother off the boot. The Saints try to continue to push forward. They do now through Drennan. Last roll of the dice. They need a mark from Grierson. They can't find it. Good work by Melbourne Uni just to hold up that final attack by the Saints. And what a first term of VFL Women's Love the Game finals action we've just seen. 3-1-19 the Southern Saints. Melbourne Uni 2-1-13. 6-point ball game at quarter time. Our goal kickers for the Southern Saints, Kat Phillips, Mel Kais and Caitlin Greiser, all with one each. And Melbourne Uni, Abertangelo and Bateman, the single goal scorers. Xavier Maloney, your thoughts on that first term?
Great first quarter. I thought both teams applied the pressure. Tackling was fierce, both teams. I thought Melbourne Uni, similar to last week, they lowered their eyes, really tried to maintain possession of the ball when they moved it. I thought the Southern Saints, they looked electric. When they were moving it quickly and they played on fast, they looked very dangerous.
Well, that is quarter time in today's game, and what a first term people have witnessed here at Adcon Stadium and also on VFL.com.au and listening on SEN2. We're going to take a quick break. After the break, we'll have the reports back from the coaches' huddles, and we'll bring you a big second quarter of VFL Women's Love the Game finals action right after this.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Sam Hargraves. Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. on 11:16 SEN.
It's your job. You'll be fine. Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Welcome back to Adcon Stadium. Today's semi-final action in the Swiss Wellness VFL Women's Love the Game final series. And the coaches chatting to their charges at the moment. Xavier Maloney out there having a bit of a listen in for us. And I don't know, the Melbourne Uni will be pretty happy with 2 goals against the Breeze during that term. But fast attacking football, which was great to watch.
Yeah, great to see. And it's not a game where we've seen a lot of clean possession and marks taken and shots gone back for set shots for goal. Most of the goals have been sort of either on the run or a quick little snap from a stoppage in a contest or something like that. So it's exciting football. It's difficult to defend kind of football as well. It's just got to be close player on player. But like you say, Anthony, it's been great attacking football so far. We're using the centre of the ground, and let's just hope the coaches don't go into the quarter-time break and change to a defensive mindset from our selfish observer point of view. We want it to stay exciting, but it's been great so far as the players take back to the ground, and another 5-goal few quarters set us up for a ripper and very entertaining final game of football, as we've got Xavier Maloney racing up from the quarter-time huddles here. And Xavier, what did the coaches have to say at quarter-time?
Coach Peter Searle just commended the team on the surge, that 10 minutes where they got the three goals in succession. Spoke about the midfield, just being really careful of Melbourne Uni's spread. Just felt as though they got away from it in the midfield. Need to tighten that up.
Well, all set for the second term of action. A very good afternoon. We can say good afternoon now. We've entered the second half of the day. Good afternoon to our VFL.com.au viewers viewing through the app or the VFL website. And welcome to our SEN2 audience. Blair Morton, get us underway in this second term with the Southern Saints leading by 6 points.
Rucks go at it again. Winning it this time was Kelly. She ends up laying a pretty good tackle. Ball in dispute. Sard now doing some ferocious tackling on the player with the ball, who eventually makes her way free as Mackie. And a resulting ball up, still in the centre circle, just adjacent to it. As we go up again, Sard won it on the second bounce, got a little handball out, spills free nearly to Riddell, but instead running forward with the ball's Vesely. Vesely runs her measure, goes forward to Greiser, doesn't take the mark, but it spills out the back. Greiser, right foot snap, and it's a goal to the Saints in the first minute. Greiser with her second, and the Southern Saints will be happy about that. Now 4-1-25, leading Melbourne Uni 2-1-13, and the Southern Saints are very quick out of the barriers.
Just a great use of strength there, just to give herself some time and space. Great finish, good start from the Southern Saints. That was exactly what they wanted to do this quarter, was their spread from the midfield, so they've just repaid Melbourne Uni there from the first quarter.
So 12 points the margin. That has been the biggest margin of the game. Southern Saints at the 13-minute mark when they kicked 3 in a row. So the game hasn't gone beyond that 12-point mark. Riddell going over the ball. Carney now at ground level, and we will see a ball up. So, middle of Adcon Stadium, semi-final action. Collingwood awaits the winner of today's game. Sard slung off the football. Carney now trying to get the ball out. Could have been just waiting for the decision. Taken too high against Mackie. And we will see a free kick going the way of the captain. Long up towards forward 50. Kai's going back with the flight of the ball for the Saints. Got the options out on this the outer side wing. Elects to go with one of them now. The breeze just dragging that football out of bounds. And will be the free kick going the way of Melbourne Uni.
Interesting first inside 50 there. Melbourne Uni controlled the ball, lowered their eyes in that first quarter. Now they've got the breeze, they just blaze away there. Didn't go to their favour.
As Lucas Rod comes here from the back pocket, kicks one up the flank. That's for the Southern Saints. Ball on the deck, Riddell I should say, nearly gets herself free. Not quite. And it's a ball up. As Courtney Gibson, the umpire, directs some traffic. Gets us back underway. One down by Kelly from behind in the ruck. The Saints desperate to clear this one from their half-back flank line. Scrum of bodies, not much happening here. The ball can't spill free until Bruton gets it out to Riddell. She just snaps up to the hot spot. Chaos ball there, brought to ground. Melbourne Uni want to get it up. They come out through Garner. She 360s around through a tackle, 365, 40, nearly 720s. But the umpire elects to ball up. 30 out, directly in front of Melbourne University's goal. Gillespie Jones takes it out of the ruck, plays on, wheels around, gets onto her right for a snap. Not enough on it. It's a contest in the goal square, brought to ground. And the Saints are desperate to get it away. Abertangelo now just lobs one up to the top of the square. And the Saints finally, through Kai's, just smash it forward and rush it behind in desperate circumstances as Melbourne Uni peppered the scoreboard.
So, great work in defence by Mel Kais. both teams a few changes to their lineup. Gibson down in that forward 50 this time for Melbourne Uni. The kick intercepted onto Sard. Gibson now. I think she actually drifted down from defence. Lucas Rod to Gibson. Gibson to Lucas Rod. Now Sard. Sard looks for the handball off.
Wasn't a great little hand pass to Gibson before from Sard. I don't think Gibson wanted it and just had to panic the kick in. Sard this time taking her time.
Yeah, and I think she just needs to go long, and she does now. Top up towards the goal square. Mark taken no play on the call from the umpire. And we will have a ball up 25 metres out from the Melbourne Uni goal. Doing all the attacking early in this term. Kelly with the tap down. Good, fierce tackling to try and hold the ball inside forward 50. That was Ash Riddell. We'll have another ball up. So 30 metres out from goal. Gillespie Jones versus Poppy Kelly. Ball in dispute. Saints under pressure. Good tackling. No one able to get it clear. Kai's again going in hard for the football. Goes out wide. Jones first to the footy. Electing to go back. Got to weave their way out of trouble. They're not out of there yet. Lucas Rod taken to ground by Riddell. Didn't have the football, and the free kick goes the way of the Saints.
Well, yeah, it's desperate stuff there. The Saints doing well, though, to repel the attacker, Melbourne Uni. As they play on the kick, touched off the boot here from the Saints' defensive kick. They get a reprieve, though, with another one that goes out a half-back and a strong mark taken on the lead by Hannah Stewart. And she goes inbound to the corridor. It's a really good kick. Had to be good, and it was, to Phillips. Phillips wheels around now from the corridor, goes to true centre half forward. Mark not quite taken. Swooping for Melbourne Uni's Walsh. Coughs it up, though. Kicking forward is O'Neill. O'Neill for the Saints. And that's end-to-end footy from the Saints as O'Neill gets another.
Good passage of play there. Peter Searle spoke about changing the angles with their kicks as they move the ball down the corridor, change the angles to expose Melbourne Uni were the exact words, and that's exactly what you saw happen there. Just got caught. So, and great work by the Southern Saints just to congest the ball in their defensive 50, hold it up. Melbourne Uni didn't look like scoring in that little passage of play, so some really good football there right across the ground from the Southern Saints.
Yeah, good work bringing it... picking it up off the contest, and Kelly O'Neill just working well from that one-on-one contest with Sheila and Gibson, making her way through at the right time and putting back-to-back goals on the board again for the Southern Saints. They kicked 3 in a row during that first term, and now get that lead out further to as Phillips leads in the race in defensive 50 for the Saints. Walsh couldn't get her hands on her. Phillips providing plenty of drive off half-back and through the middle of the ground today for the Saints, pushing the ball forward. Ball held up, and we will see a ball up on the outer side wing here at Agcon Stadium. So, margin now at 16 points. Kick in the middle of the ground. They find Munn. Munn will push the Saints forward once again. Inside forward 50, high up and under kick. Gibson came through. Kick wide by Julian. Now looking for the target in Whitford. A late inclusion into today's lineup. They find Sard through the middle of the ground. Now they've got the runners on the outer side. Gillespie Jones has a bounce. Now goes long. Inside forward 50. Will these bounce all the way? It's in the forward pocket. Oh, stolen! And Melbourne Uni through Jasmine Garner steal the football in the goal square and put through their third. They move on to 3-2-20. Southern Saints 5-1-31. And, wow, right in the goal square. That wasn't predictable then, Xavier Maloney.
It wasn't, but I'll tell you what I do like is that's when Melbourne Uni look at their best, when they can cause the turnover on their half-back line. That's where they really set up the play. Good use of hands, good skills down the wing. It was a long ball inside their 50 and paid off.
As you said, Anthony, Jazzy Garner just absolutely robbed her in the goal square as we go back up at it. And the Saints have it via the outlet of Vesely. She just goes to half forward. Could have got one high there, I think. Munn not paid. Off the deck it came from Stewart. But intercepting well was Carney. That's for Melbourne Uni. And her kick to the outer side wing to no one in particular. It's Kais who's there first for the Saints. Snaps one around on the left. Went looking for Stewart. Got it on the bounce. Just got it away. Now there's a few converging. Walsh hacks it forward for Muggers. And just sprays it out of bounds. And it's going to be a last touch free kick to the Southern Saints. Underneath the Norman Goss grandstand. She comes inbound. Good little kick. Finds Courtney Jones on the lead. So Courtney Jones, middle of the wing, has a look up. Just kicks up long to her half-forward line. Brought to ground. Melbourne Uni now have the numbers. Handball comes out. 1, 2, 3. The third one's intercepted. Put to Emma Mackey, who was under the pump. Did well to get hands on it at all. Now Drennan's got it. Drennan kicks it up long, inbound to 50, but no one in particular. Last line of defence. Melbourne Uni take a mark. And they're going to go the switch. They come out to Ailey Runnels in the pocket area. He's run up from the wing. She goes further up to Gibson. They're just chipping it well here, Melbourne Uni, but all the players have now streamed to that side of the ground. No longer space. Good kick comes up to Duffin, who got up well. She's playing in front of the ball. Now a handball. The Saints have it. Was going the way of Shannon. She just got a little handball up. Slacking the ball forward was Watt. Watt goes up to her half-forward line. Mark not taken. Well done in defence by Grierson for Melbourne Uni. Brought down in a tackle and ball up.
It's a really good play there from the Southern Saints. Melbourne Uni tried to switch the play. They looked like they were out, but the Southern Saints be able to get numbers there, set up the zone defence on the wing, and then cause the turnover back.
So Watt versus Gillespie Jones. Mackey bursting her way through. Vesely dispossessed. Got a kick away, but heads straight towards the boundary line. And we'll have a
throw in. That was called a throw in first. They changed the mind.
Yeah, one umpire did call the throw in, but I think it was over that 50-metre arc. So last touch rule applied. There's a ball on the outer side wing here at Adcon Stadium. He was diving in over the top. Gillespie Jones playing a lot more time in the ruck. Probably over the last couple of months we've seen her more in that midfield role. Sard taking the majority of the ruck opportunities. But Gillespie Jones in that role today. McDonald bursting her way through. Mackey now over the football. Habertangelo. The tackle slipped. Mackey now up towards centre half forward. Bouncing football. Gone right into the hands that time of Sedgenary. Goes long towards goal and off to the left-hand side through 4-1 behind. She stole it off the pack. And now Southern Saints moving on to 5-2-32. 12-point leaders over Melbourne Uni. 3-2-20. Choose tap scoreboard. We've gone 11 minutes in the second term.
Big kick comes from full back. It was looking for Gillespie Jones. Brought it to ground. Saints player slow to get up. Contest now. Runnels is underneath it. Gave a handball and a slashed kick. There's a bit of a panic and it goes into the corridor. Did really well as a Melbourne Uni player in a 3-on-1. It was Cox who did really well not to cough it up, but eventually the Saints win it and go out to Shannon. So Shannon on the wing, underneath the broadcast position side here, outer side wing. Kicks up to half forward. It's a good little kick. Caught her player off guard though as she led around in the circle to come back. Eventually won it back out at Stewart. And a ball up.
Rhiannon Watt's still a bit ginger from that fall from the pack just before as well, but got the tap down on that occasion.
Winning the ball was Carney, gave it to Duffin. She was under the pump. Another handball came inside to Trend, set upon. You heard the calls. Tackled well and holding the ball, given up by Trend to Courtney Jones, tackling well. She lobs it up inside and a mark taken. Southern Saints will line up here, 25 out, directly in front, taking the marks. Kate Sherlock on captain's duties today. This will be a captain's goal to make it the biggest margin of the day and get the Saints in a very good position approaching halftime.
That was just great pressure from the Southern Saints there. I really feel like Melbourne Uni have just blazed away with the breeze. I feel like when they were going against the breeze in the first quarter, they were a lot more controlled and lowered their eyes and worked their way through it, whereas they're panicking a bit. They've got the breeze. They feel like they need to kick it long all the time, and it just hasn't worked for them.
Sherlaw's kick off the side of the boot there, through for one minor. Southern Saints 5-3-33, Melbourne Uni 3-2-20.
Yeah, one aspect of the play that is good by the Saints, just as Melbourne Uni find their targets inside defensive 50. Riddell now with the football, still deep in that back pocket. They kick round the corner. Well, let's stay in play in front of Whitford. Bounce doesn't suit her. Now it goes over the line. And a free kick will go the way of the Saints. Lucas Rod to take it on the camera side of the ground. Grandstand side. Up towards centre half for Duffin. This is her strength, the intercept marking across that half back line. And she showed it then. Oh, great vision as well. Her efficiency with kicking finds Abertangelo. Abertangelo deep inside forward 50. Bruton at the back takes the mark. Quick transition football. We've seen it at both ends of the ground now, Xavier, and Jenna Bruton now lining up for goal.
That was much better. Duffin, she's a gem off the half-back line. She knew exactly what she was doing there. The fast play on. Melbourne Uni now with a shot on goal.
So Bruton, she has put it through. So where the missed opportunity by the Saints down the other end of the ground, Jenna Bruton puts through her first goal of the game. And Melbourne Uni now cutting that margin back down to 7 points. Southern Saints 5-3-33. Melbourne Uni 4-2-26. Choose Tap scoreboard. We're about to tick over to the 15-minute mark of this second term. Xavier Maloney.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out now. I think the Southern Saints were well and truly on top for the first half of this quarter, but Melbourne Uni, this could be a crucial little period for them as they go into half-time.
Isabel Shannon comes streaming into defence for the Southern Saints. We'll keep an eye on that now. She's not a 7th. She's only the 6th player with a change. As the Rucks go at it, and Garner in the middle. Her snap around affected off the boot. Doesn't go its full journey, but Melbourne Uni still gained some metres. It came up to Bateman. She bombs it inbound, looking for Abertangelo. Ball spills free. Running on him might be Bruton, is it? It's a Melbourne Uni player on the ground. Saints gather possession, but tackled well. Bruton has another go off the ground. A snap from the contest. It's a Melbourne Uni goal. And that one again is to Jazzy Garner. Gets her second of the day, and all of a sudden, it's a 1-point ball game.
So that was just simply the surge forward from their midfield. That's what Peter Searle was concerned about at quarter time, was the midfield and their spread. That's what Melbourne Uni do really well. They're right back in this game now, 5 goals apiece.
Yeah, just the roving off the pack by Jenna Bruton, our video audience seeing it now. Her second effort, she steals the ball off her opponent at ground level, got the handball off to Jasmine Garner. And Garner, opportunistic as ever, kicks her second. And that's 3 in a row for Melbourne Uni. So where it was a 17-point margin, we're back to a 1 solitary point ball game. And here comes the Saints. They're going to do the same down the other end. McCarthy out of the middle, offline. And that's 2 missed opportunities in a row for the Southern Saints. They extend their lead to 2 points, 5-4-34 to 5-2-32 for Melbourne Union. Just that quick movement. Centre clearances out of the middle, Xavier.
Yeah, there's been a real strength for both sides. When they get on top in the midfield, they're able to get a centre clearance quickly.
Duffin went short to Trend in the pocket. Trend didn't have much to kick to. Eventually just put it up. Nearly coughed it up to Mackie, but Mackie couldn't complete the mark. Saints are now in possession at half forward. Go to Jones. Jones goes inbound, but again, the kick wasn't great. Turned it over to Riddell. Riddell goes to the opposite side wing underneath the Norm Goss stand. Handball now. Ellie Runnels is underneath it. She got it up, gave it to a runner. Runner streams forward, goes inbound to 50, but the kick just a bit short. And Keys read it well, intercepted, came back for the Saints. She goes out of side, gets Courtney Jones on the mark at half back.
Jones brings it along the outer side wing. Ball falls now to Munn. Gets it back, Phillips. Phillips long. Finds her target in Drennan. Drennan, short chip kick. Finds her target in Shearlaw. Could have been taken late. Umpire didn't think so. Kate Shearlaw will go back. Probably too far out to score with the breeze the way it is. She's going to centre the ball. Oh, plenty of Saints down the corridor. They had to raffle it. And Isabella Shannon is the one that has won the ticket and will line up from directly in front. Great vision, Xavier.
It certainly was. I just feel like Southern Saints, have moved the ball a little bit sharper down the field, and just their work rate just looks a little bit higher than Melbourne Uni. Their fitness looks a little bit better at the moment.
So Isabella Shannon long to the goal square off hands. Mark, has it been paid? It has. So Greiser in the goal square? It is. And we'll line up from directly in front. And this time they need to make no mistake about it. And they certainly don't. Straight through the middle. A late goal before half-time in this clash, going totally against the momentum of the game. And Caitlin Greiser has her 3rd goal of the match and the 6th goal for the Southern Saints. 6-4-40, the Southern Saints. Melbourne Uni 5-2-32. Choose tap scoreboard as we enter the final minute of this first half.
Yeah, the Southern Saints will be happy with that. They nearly turned what would have been an 18-point margin in, well, they did, to a 1-point margin. And then they had that shot at goal that missed from the captain in Sherlaw today, which could have got him out further ahead, but not to be, as we've got an 8-point ball game here in the last minute before half-time. Saints win it from the stoppage. They get out to Keys, who was a quarterback position coming from the half-back line. Eventually got it up, and the Saints have to kick outside to the wing. They go across to go forward, but Melbourne Uni eventually get the ball back through Carney.
10 seconds.
Carney wheels around, a snap. It's not going to have the legs on it. Cut off by Guttridge. Guttridge is set upon, but she's helped out by her mate on the outer side, and eventually the halftime siren goes, and that's the way the cards fall. Southern Saints 6-4-40 with their necks in front at half-time. Melbourne Uni 5-2-32, and we are all poised for a wonderful second half of football here at Adcon Stadium in this sudden death final between Melbourne Uni and St Kilda. Southern Saints, excuse me.
Really was a quarter of momentum. Southern Saints started really well. Melbourne Uni got back on top and surged in the middle part of that quarter, but then Southern Saints settled just before half-time, and they'll be pretty happy with that first half, the Southern Saints.
Well, we requested it at quarter time. We said a few of the games that have had electric starts have gone defensive in the second term, and wow, the game didn't disappoint. Both teams playing on at all opportunities and playing some exciting football here at Adcon Stadium. That scoreboard signed off for quarter time. So the Southern Saints during that term against the Breeze, kicking 3 goals, 3 to Melbourne Uni, kicking 3 goals, 1. Our goal scorers till half-time in this game. Southern Saints, Caitlin Greiser, 2 goals during the second term, taking her tally to 3 for the match. And she's hit 20 goals for the season now. So great season by the former Western Jet and now St Kilda AFLW listed player. Single goals to O'Neill, Kais and Phillips. For Melbourne Uni, their major goal scorer, Jasmine Garner, with 2 goals during that second term. And other major goal scorers are Bruton, Bateman and Abertangelo with 1 each. We're going to take a break. Electric first half, and Collingwood, well, they'll be watching on this game and still not sure what team they will be playing in next week's preliminary final. The preliminary final match to be played next Sunday here at Adcon Stadium. We're going to take a break. During the break, we're going to head back to the VFL Hour from earlier on in the week, where we had a chat to Jess Duffin from Melbourne Uni, leading up to the best and fairest night in the VFL competition on Monday night. She is the reigning VFL Women's Best and Fairest, the Lambert Pearce medalist from last year. So we'll take a break, and then we'll have a listen to Jess Duffin, and we'll be back with a big second half of Love the Game semi-final action. This game still in the balance, a 8-point lead to Southern Saints at halftime. We'll be back after this break on vfl.com.au and also SEN2.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Totally Workwear. Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Sam Hargraves. Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. on 11:16 SEN.
It's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
Welcome back to the VFL Hour. You can get involved in the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Visit vfl.com.au. Sam Hargraves, Anthony Stangett's joined now by one of the superstars of the VFLW and AFLW. This is our update for them thanks to the Victoria Police. They're now recruiting. You can apply now. Jess Duffin, one of Australia's best cricketers for a long time, was the Cricketer of the Year, I believe, in 2013. So 2013, the Australian Women's Cricketer of the Year, a VFLW Best and Fairest winner last year, All-Australian in the AFLW last year after crossing for North Melbourne. So incredibly highly decorated. You'd think she'd have a lot better things to do with her time, Anthony Stangitt, to jump on the phone and chat to you and I, but she's been good enough to give us some time after Melbourne Uni on the weekend. Had a good win over Geelong, 9-2-56 to the Cats, 6-7-43. Jess Duffin, hello.
Hello, how are we going?
Very well, thank you, Jess. Congratulations on the win in the final on the weekend.
Yeah, thank you. The girls played some really good football and some really poor football at the same time, but it was just good to get the win on the board.
Now, that first quarter, you yourself playing down in defence, did you think it was going to reach your end of the ground, kicking with the breeze, and it just became the Jasmine Garner show?
Yeah, I know. It was actually, we spoke about it before the game. We knew that we needed a really good start. Unfortunate for us, obviously, Jazzy had a really good quarter, and, that obviously helped us at the end of the day win the game. So, I know what Jazzy's capable of, having played with her at Collingwood and seen her play for the St Kilda Sharks as well. So it doesn't surprise me that she had a good quarter, but, we were very fortunate that she did.
And she's one of those players that I don't think we've seen the best of yet, have we? We've seen glimpses, but probably not seen the ultimate best that she can produce.
Yeah, you're right. And I think, that to some extent is the ball coming into her as well. Obviously, the last few years, Williamstown as well, she probably hasn't had the delivery that she's needed. But, it all comes as part of the game, and she's really developed herself as a footballer and really worked on her craft as well. So she's been up the ground a lot for us this year as well, playing in the midfield. So, she's a really good footballer.
And the Melbourne Uni established a strong lead at three-quarter time, but the Cats really throwing everything at you in that final term, and yourself and the defensive half were really put under pressure in that final quarter to get that win.
Yeah, exactly. We knew that they were obviously going to come out really hard. They had nothing to lose, just like us. It was just one of those games that kind of ebbed and flowed a lot of the time, and fortunately for us, in the last quarter, we had a few girls down back that stood up and, kind of halted their flow a little bit.
And for this game, I think one of the keys that I've seen with Melbourne Uni this year has been the versatility of the team, of the ability to move players around the field, and probably over the last month that the lineup has seemed to have settled. You've had a few of those players from AFLW come back into the team, but a bit more of a settled lineup with different players in positions as well.
Yeah, that's right as well. I mean, the AFLW girls, a lot of us have been juggled around this year, obviously, to make sure that we're nice and fresh when the AFLW season does start. But at the same time, we've had a few injuries over the past few weeks as well. So to get that stability a little bit in the back line especially, and have those girls down back like Jazzy Grierson and Jess Trent really put their hand up on the weekend was really good. And, I suppose those players, just getting better and better each week.
Jess Duff and I was telling Anthony before that I went out to Victoria Park and watched the Collingwood take on the Southern Saints, and I was remarking how really important coming out of defence and just how impenetrable Chloe Malloy was. And it wasn't just her intercept marking, but it was her use of the footy. You guys, Melbourne Uni, you did finish 5th, but coming into finals, you'll have a heap of confidence because you've got such good ball users in your side, yourself included, one of the best kicks of the footy in the competition. But you've also got Emma Carney and players of that ilk. So despite finishing 5th, you guys will probably fancy yourself on any day against anybody because, as you know, when it comes to finals, being able to use the footy efficiently is so important in the freneticism and the chaos of finals footy.
Yeah, that's right. And, depending on this day as well, anything can happen with wind, rain, all that sort of stuff. So if you've got some really good ball users that can hit a target coming out the back half, it really helps to set up the drive through the midfield and into our forward line. You mentioned Emma Carney. She's the real connection between our back line and our forward line. So, it's good to know that going into finals that we do have those players around. And obviously she's come off an injury as well through the pre-season. So to get her up for the finals and her playing really well, is a credit to the work that she's done behind the scenes.
You're taking on the Southern Saints in a semi-final this Saturday at AdCon. They finished second on the ladder and really well coached, a really disciplined side. They might not have the sort of most recognisable names that you guys might have, but they're a very even team across the board. What are you expecting and what's going to be the major hurdle for you guys to overcome with the Saints?
Yeah, they're obviously going to be really tough. As you said, they're really well drilled. So their structures, both forward and back, are something that we need to break. And going through their team tonight, and we'll go again through on Thursday. I think it's just, as you said, using the ball really well, and they set up pretty well behind the ball. So it's just trying to hit targets along the line and make sure that we get, the best ball users using it into our forward line.
Jess, do you think it's a bit of an advantage over the Southern Saints having played a game at AdCon Stadium last weekend where Southern Saints were out at Victoria Park?
Yeah, I think it does help a little bit. It depends if we get the same conditions again or if it changes, and who knows, at Port Melbourne it's a little bit unpredictable down there. So, obviously where they play as well usually has a bit of a breeze. So hopefully, because we have seen the ground and the size of the ground, it does put us in a little bit an advantage. But at the same time, they've got some really good coaches around them to, obviously tell them exactly what to do in conditions that they're going to get.
And obviously with the side this year, you mentioned about the AFLW player management throughout the year, and there have been some injuries. Probably one of the areas there have been injuries and players on the sidelines been that tools department. But Vivian Sard really taking over the reins of the ruck and making it her own in the second half of the season.
Yeah, she's been a really good asset for us, and her ability to actually take an intercept mark as well down back for us when she's had to come back and help us out has been phenomenal. So, between her and Gillespie Jones, they've really helped us this year down back, and it always helps when someone can take a really good grab.
Jess, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you. You're an out-and-out superstar, and I think a lot of teams are going to want to hopefully try and avoid you in the finals for as long as you can with the experience that you guys have got and some of the players that I mentioned earlier. Well done on the win on the weekend, and good luck against the Saints on Saturday.
Thanks for having me.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Welcome back to Adcon Stadium as I burst the eardrums of our commentary team coming back from that halftime interview. Jess Duffin, of course, catching up with our VFL hour last Tuesday night. So Southern Saints just back out on the park. Melbourne Uni all in position and ready to go.
Not in any hurry, are they?
Almost a bit of a psychological warfare here, Xavier Maloney. You headed into the rooms at half-time and... got a bit of an update from the coaches.
I did. Anthony went to the Melbourne Uni change rooms. Scott Gowans, very calm in there. Very calm, cool, collected group of coaches. The very simple message. Scott Gowans said we're going to take it through the corridor at all costs. He's happy with the use of hands and maybe one short kick, but then try and move it through the corridor if they can. They feel like that's the destiny of this game is in their hands, and if they take it on through the corridor, they can win this game.
Yeah, looking forward to the start of this second half. Good crowd building up here. Double-headed game today with Essendon versus Werribee in the VFL. For our SEN2 listeners, they'll need to tune over to SEN 1116 to listen to that coverage today. Anthony Stangas, Blair Morton and Xavier Maloney with you. Blair, get us underway in this second half.
Courtney Gibson gets us underway, and it was Watt who did the pinch hitting in the ruck. Punched it forward. The Saints surging. Handball comes out. Now Melbourne Uni turn it over through Bruton. Bruton goes to Trend. Trend tries to slash one forward. They're at half forward, Melbourne University. Gillespie Jones goes to get it off the deck at true centre half forward position. But the Southern Saints stand up well in defence. Kick gets away. But it's Sard who's there for Melbourne Uni. She's got some support. But the Saints converge pretty quickly. Eventually a little kick comes inbound to half forward again for Melbourne Uni. Once again though, the Southern Saints rebound with an interception. Now it comes out to Molly McDonald. She goes up the line, searching for Voigt, and the boundary line beats her. Out of bounds, throw in. No, last touch again. This one going the way of Melbourne Uni via Julian. Julian gives up some ground, retreats back inside 50. And it's Grierson who goes wider again. Called to play on now Melbourne University. They might have themselves in a bit of a pickle. They get it out to Bruton. She uses it well, though, from the pocket and gets it up to half-back. It might be Trend who's got it out there. Trend goes up the line, looking, and Gillespie Jones taking a good mark on the end of a Bateman kick it was. So Gillespie Jones now on the wing. All the game in front of her. Kicks it up long and gets Sard out the back of the contest all on her own. Sard gives it inbound. It was a handball under pressure to Riddell. She shrugged it, did well to get it forward. It's a 3-on-1 if Melbourne Uni can get some possession here. Couldn't complete the mark. Now it comes out the back. Cox running onto it, but boundary line wins, and St Kilda get a reprieve because there's 3-on-1 there, and it looked like a Melbourne Uni goal was about to come off.
Yeah, Abertangelo just sneaking it through the gap for that shot at goal. Watt elects to go to the outer side over the head of Munn. Ball in dispute on the grandstand side of the ground. Bruton gets around traffic, centering in towards Carney. Didn't have the football, but Uni now. Long through Ebb up towards half forward. Abertangelo versus Whitford. One-on-one contest. Now McDonald comes up with the football for the Saints. Bounces along this outer side wing. Two bounces, goes long on the left boot. It's all open for Gibson. Sheila now intercepted the handball. The ball will go out of bounds. No, kept in play. Good kick around the corner from Julian. Finds her target in Ebb. Play on the call from the umpire. Just kept in play. And Jess Trent takes the mark. Looks in towards the corridor. Intercepted by Greiser. And... I wouldn't be too surprised if it's within scoring distance for Greiser. She unloads and goes long to the top of the goal square. They've got the numbers, the Saints. Munn at the fall of the ball, kicks it goalward and puts it through. First goal of the second half on the board. And it goes the way of the Saints. Quick play again inside forward 50. 7-4-46, the Southern Saints. Melbourne Uni 5-3-33. Two-step scoreboard. Xavier Maloney.
Well, they've done exactly what the coach ordered. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off, and that's the risky part of corridor football. If you're going to take it through, especially across the half-back line, and you turn it over, then Southern Saints are going to get a quick forward entry, which is exactly what they did, and they've finished there. So good start from the Southern Saints.
If you're watching on the replay there, you can see Munn doing really well. She nearly completed the mark and then roved her own work and got the kick away for an important first goal. So we said it's a 13-point margin now to the Southern Saints, which it's been at for a little while. They've got that little bit of a buffer. But Melbourne Uni have something to say about that. As Riddell goes into Gillespie Jones, she bombs it from the centre, goes to the forward position. It was Angela she was after, but the Saints beat her. Turn it over now. They kick out in front again. Is it McDonald? It is. She takes on Trent, tucks it under the arm, runs her measure and goes forward. On the end of it here is the Saints through Sherlaw. Had to beat Gibson. But Gibson happy to see it out of bounds, and Saints gain some territory. They're now 60 out from goal. Outer side pocket. I should say outer side flank, as we're about to get back underway. Gillespie Jones and Watt go at it, the two pink-cheating rucks. Gillespie Jones had the better of it, but only gave it away to Phillips. That's for the Saints. Garner turns it over, though. Bombs one forward to no one in particular. Defending well was Lucas Rod for the Southern Saints, and she goes out to the wing, puts a ball in front of Mackie. Mackie now goes to half-forward position. Walsh threw herself over the ball. The Saints, though, get it out with a little handball, nearly turned over yet again, and a tackle laid, holding the play. A free kick gone here, and it's going the way of Melbourne University, who can reset from half-back.
So the captain Inkani goes straight down the middle of the ground, looking for Duffin across that half-forward line. Duffin lays the tackle. Bursting her way out through was Shannon, but she's kicked long and indirect and finds Gibson in defence for Melbourne Uni. She goes straight down the middle of the ground, finds Gillespie Jones. Good work by Trend, offering support, but Gillespie Jones. Shannon couldn't take it. McDonald now to Kais. Kais just no direction with the kicks at the moment, Xavier. Just put it on the boot and bombing it long, both teams.
Yeah, both teams are causing their own turnovers at the moment.
So Melbourne Uni bring it along the outer side wing. A direct kick this time and finds Gillespie Jones. She centres the ball. Target on that occasion was Runnels. Garner couldn't get her hands on it. Now Phillips shows her run, pushing the ball, soccers it inside forward 50. Looking for Shearlaw. Oh, stolen that time by Grierson. Grierson, great work, finds Carney on the lead on the outer side. And now finding their targets, Melbourne Uni.
Ball getting slippery here as we've seen a few little fumbles that should have been taken. This time Runnels completes a mark. It's starting to get wet. It's all greasy. Comes in a Trend on the wing. Trend goes forward and gets her target. That's Cox. Half forward flank. Elects to go inbound. No real target, just a centering ball. Bruton's on the ground underneath it. Couldn't get a clean possession. She'll have another crack. This time got it out to Gillespie Jones. She snaps one forward again. No target, just centering. Comes to ground. Saints rebound. This is through Vesely, who puts it in the centre. Had to go back with the flight. Mackie did well to get hands on it, but now they burst out of the guts. Is this McDonald again? Maybe not. The bounce was no good. Shouldn't have bounced on the slippery deck and coughed it up. That was McCarthy, but they still surge forward. Off the ground's Voigt, but she's tackled from behind. That one came from Walsh. Yet another tackle laid, and the umpires had a good look here, seen a couple, but decided not to pay any, and a frenetic passage of play yet again, with a couple of little mistakes, ends up in Southern Saints 40 out from goal. They handball it down. Oh, the Melbourne Uni player took her time, tackled from behind, just got it away. And now they're out at half-backs and killed a player down. It's McCarthy behind play 2, slow to get up. Out of bounds and last touch going the way of Melbourne Uni, as it might have been Ebb who just took her time off half-back and got set upon, but they get a reprieve.
And McCarthy has the trainers heading out towards her now. Kick round the corner on the outer side. Kais couldn't take it. Now handball over the top. The run of Cox through the middle of the ground. Melbourne Uni go goalward. Who can they find at the back of the pack? No one. The umpire comes in. There will be a free kick.
Laid the tackle was Angelis, doing her best to put on some forward pressure, but tackled a player who didn't really have the ball. Unfortunate for Melbourne Uni.
So Melbourne Uni have got in 4 or 5 times. They're deliberately going in quick. They've got a smaller forward line, so they're hoping to bring the ball to ground and then capitalise. They haven't done so yet, but that's the game plan for this third quarter.
Now we've got a little dispute on here. The Saints finally get it out. There was a few players down. It was sort of the last player standing who had it. Bit of a Stephen Bradbury effort as Moore rebounds and just gets it off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full, and Southern Saints win a free kick at their half-back line. It's Molly McDonald who's having a look. She goes long up the ground. Nearly completing the mark was Munn. Brought it to ground. Now there's a few again over the ball and just getting it out. Nearly fighting for it. Here's Grierson. Happy to give it up to Gillespie Jones, who was on top of it. But another ball up. It's Courtney Gibson, our umpire here, has a look around, does some arranging. Gillespie Jones wins it out of the ruck from Garner. Garner wheels around, gets herself into a little bit of space, goes up to the half-forward line. No mark taken. It's spilled out free. Really well done here by McDonald again. Handball out, though, wasn't to any clear space. Lots of pressure on. A Southern Saints kick cut off by Walsh. Couldn't complete the mark. Garner roved well. Sold some candy. Goes forward. Trends underneath it. Brings it to ground. Gillespie Jones jumps on it. Gets a little handball out. Now they're just rolling forward. Gillespie Jones throws herself in again. And ball up. 45 out from Melbourne Uni goal.
So we have gone 10 minutes in the third term. 13 points the margin. Winner plays Collingwood next week in a preliminary final. Drennan along the outer side wing. Gibson will meet Drennan in the battle for the football. Gibson needs a bit of support. Good work by Drennan. Got it on to McDonald. McDonald inside forward 50. The target is Stewart, but goes too far out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary thrown in the left forward pocket for the Southern Saints.
Emma Carney a little bit slow to get up there. Shrugged the trainer off. She's up and moving. Keep an eye on that for Melbourne Uni.
So the Saints cheer squad at the Williamstown Road end of the ground in full voice. I'd like to see a result from this push forward. They've kicked the only goal of the third term so far. Can they get another one? As we tick towards three-quarter times, Breeze heading towards that right of screen during this third quarter, so it'll be Melbourne Uni coming home with the breeze, but hasn't had a major effect on the game so far, with goals scored to the city end of the ground at will as well. So 5 goals scored to the left of screen. Another ball up inside forward 50 for the Southern Saints. Munn, who has been active during this third term. Trend couldn't intercept. Tackles McDonald. Grierson went without it. Mackie gets round her opponent. Goes long towards goal. Has she drifted it back enough? She has. Puts the arms up. Emma Mackie kicks her first of the game. Southern Saints benefit from that forward 50 entry again in their 8th goal on the board. 8-4-52. They lead Melbourne Uni 5-3-33 on the Choose Tap scoreboard, and we've gone 12 minutes in the third term. Xavier Maloney.
So with the rain in this third quarter, we've seen the play become a little bit congested, a little bit fumbly, but Mackie there was just sensational below her knees. Really clean, snaps a goal, fantastic play.
Set it out really well in the wind, didn't she too, Xavier? Just gave it enough and let it drift back. Lovely stuff.
Biggest margin of the game now, 19 points in this clash.
So ruck set and go at it. Sard won it down this time, but only got it as far as Drennan, her opponent playing for the Saints. Handball now up. Slashed kick forward. This one came from Kelly. Out to half forward. On the end of it's Voigt. She gets set upon. Handball over the top. Inbound looking for Munn. Rolling forward to the Saints here. They're inside 50. Just a little wheel around. Couldn't quite get the end of it was McCarthy. Still we're on the deck. A few players over it. Walsh got in there. Out of bounds. If you're asking for deliberate out of bounds, it has it. No, not. Has it been paid? It might be a free kick. It is going the way of the Southern Saints here. The umpires are going to have a little meeting.
No, the boundary umpire called it. I think he just got a bit confused with the last touch rule.
So after all that, level heads have prevailed and it's a ball in. Inside the Southern Saints attacking territory. approaching the 3/4 time break. We're about 6.5 minutes away from that one. Saad again wins it down. Ball on the ground. She does her own roving. Does really well to get a handball away. And the Saints get one forward through Riddell. Excuse me, that's Melbourne Uni. And they try to get it out to half back, but intercept mark taken, and the Saints reload inside 50 with a high, long kick. Greiser lays a massive tackle. Holding the ball, no, she got her high. And that big, strong tackle on Carney results in a free kick on the last line of defence for Muggers.
Yeah, Grierson in that last patch of play as well. Could have taken the mark instead of punching it away, but it's ended up with Melbourne Uni. But here they come again, the Saints. Drennan inside forward 50. Great pass, finds Sheila. And Sheila will line up to see whether she can put through the 9th goal of the day for the Southern Saints. And put through her first of the game. So Drennan, great. Just threaded the needle between the two Melbourne Uni defenders. Emma Carney getting back to help out in defence for Melbourne Uni. Gibson on the mark. Right behind it with our camera angle. Sheila goes bang. Put through her first. The 9th on the board for the Southern Saints. They move on to 9-4-58. Leading Melbourne Uni 5-3-33. And they have now kicked the last 4 goals of this clash. Xavier Maloney.
It's the first time they try to exit their defensive 50 there. The Southern Saints just set up the wall. Melbourne Uni, so Duffin pushed up and made it a 2-on-1 contest, but the Melbourne Uni forwards have got to roll up and make it a contest there when the Southern Saints drop back. But once again, then that second exit from defensive 50 was a corridor ball. Again, coach's orders. It's exciting to watch, but it's hurting them on the turnover.
Winner of today's game books a berth in the preliminary final next Sunday with Collingwood. And the Saints at the moment in the box seat after a 4-goal run.
Mackie streamed through the contest with the ball. Heavy tackle laid by Duffin, and that tackle was adjudicated to be too high. So Mackie wins one from the centre circle, goes inside. Mark Greiser back with it as a strong mark by Greiser. Out-bodied, read it better, threw her body backwards with it, and takes a great overhead mark. She'll line up. Kick from 45, more or less directly in front. She's got the distance, we know that. Long kick, Caitlin Greiser. Line up for her 4th of the afternoon to get the Southern Saints out to the biggest margin of the day. And dare I say it, potentially a match-winning one going into Oranges at 3/4 time break. Have a look at this. Caitlin Greiser straight over the goal umpire's head, and they get around her. She gets her 4th. The Southern Saints get their 10th, and they really stretch a lead out now, the Southern Saints. 31 points as we approach the 3/4 time break.
Great ball movement inside forward 50, utilising their tall targets. We didn't see too much, Xavier, in the first half of the kick long and finding the tall targets, but Saints using it to their advantage during this third term.
They certainly are. They're making use of it with the breeze. They're looking really dangerous now. So Melbourne Uni will need a reply going into 3/4 time so they can get some momentum going to the last quarter.
So ball back in the middle. 31 points the margin. I think we've seen a margin like this in any of the finals games so far. And again, another centre clearance. Drennan causing the damage in the middle of the ground. Now Phillips gets her hands on it. Good desperation by the Melbourne Uni defence. Julian jumping over the top. Now kick round the corner. Is intercepted again, and Mackie, they've just had all their stars come to the fore during this third term. Inside forward 50 Sheila. Good work by Gibson. Duffin onto Walsh. Walsh, the short chip kick, finds its target in Runnels. So needing to slow the play down now. Melbourne Uni inside their defensive 50. They go along the outer side. Watt couldn't take it. Mackie again picks up another disposal. Kicks inside forward 50. It heads over the boundary line, and we will see a boundary throw-in in the right forward pocket for the Southern Saints.
So boundary throw in here inside the Southern Saints attacking territory. They'll be keen to capitalise on this and get another goal in the last minute and a half before the final break. Greiser doing the ruck work, beat Sard on that occasion. Ball on the ground. Graja had it, tried to get it out. Could have been ball. A few asked for it. Handball now comes out to the Southern Saints runner, and she just peels it across. Might have been Kai's, was it? It was Drennan who just had it and couldn't complete the goal as Melbourne Uni rebound really quickly and give it up. Inside they go to Whitford, who wheels around, just gets it up into the middle of the ground. Now the ball's on the deck. Melbourne Uni having a real go at this one. They come out with the handball, go to Cox. Cox just coughed it up, had it on the ground, threw herself on the ball, was airborne underneath, took out the legs of her opponent. Free kick going the way of the Southern Saints.
It's a credit to Melbourne Uni. They have stuck to exactly what they talked about doing at half-time. They've gone the corridor every time. They are looking like scoring. They just can't quite capitalise on their skills for the middle of the ground.
Well, they've got 30 seconds to cut into that lead before the three-quarter time break. And a free kick has gone the way of the Saints. Stewart to take it. One last opportunity for the Saints. They've got 20 seconds to get it inside forward 50. What can Melbourne Uni do? Walsh. They kick it out wide. Ebb. Time ticking away. 10 seconds left in the term. Can they get it inside forward 50? Have a shot before the three-quarter time siren. I think they'll miss that opportunity. And the mark taken. Great work back in defence. Vesely, they play on. And that is three-quarter time. Huge third term by the Southern Saints. 4 goals to 0 during that third quarter. And they have established a 32-point lead at three-quarter time. 10-5-65. Melbourne Uni 5-3-33 on the Choose Tap scoreboard. Goal scorers to three-quarter time. Greiser has 4 and singles each to Mackie, Phillips, Kais, Munn, O'Neill and Shearlaw. Melbourne Uni, Garner with 2 goals, singles each to Bruton, Bateman and Abertangelo. Xavier Maloney, what a third term by the Saints in the premiership quarter.
Cracking quarter by the Southern Saints. Melbourne Uni, as we mentioned, they stuck to their game plan. They took it through the corridor. It's exciting to watch. I'll give them that. They're having a go. You can clearly see what they're trying to do, but unfortunately, they made some skill errors when they did go through the corridor, and that cost them on the turnover. At least 2 goals, the Southern Saints rebounded when Melbourne Uni tried to move the ball through the corridor there. So a bit of work to do for Melbourne Uni this last quarter.
Well, 1 quarter to go for the winner. A booking with Collingwood next week in a preliminary final. The loser, it is season over. It's all going to go down to the wire in this clash for our video stream audience. They're watching the third quarter highlights, and there were plenty of them for the Southern Saints. For our SEN2 audience, we're going to head to a break, and then we'll be back to bring you the final term of semi-final action in the Love the Game final series right after this.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's. Don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Sam Hargraves. Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
It's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it, doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
There you go.
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is hit into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coach's huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes
And you'll
behind
find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men. Some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Well, there is the siren to start the final term here at Adcon Stadium. A massive 32-point lead to the Southern Saints. Anthony Stankers, Blair Morton and Xavier Maloney with you for the final term. Can the Uni stage a comeback to book a berth with Collingwood? Or will it be the Saints progressing through after a dominant third term? We'll find out in this final quarter. We'll head to Xavier Maloney in a short moment just to find out what the coaches had to say at a three-quarter time as Uni burst forward very early in this term. Runnels inside the forward 50 arc. Riddell sneaks it out to Runnels again. Good tackle from Vesely. Ball going nowhere. Xavier, what do the coaches have to say?
So certainly with the Southern Saints have time on their side, so they were electing to play the slow play wherever they can. They've got time on their side, so look for the Saints to do that. Melbourne Uni, it's obviously play on at all costs. The absolute opposite. The destiny's in their hands this quarter.
So Gillespie Jones got it to Riddell, who went up forward. We're deep inside Melbourne Uni, attacking forward 50. The Riddell kick. We're now up to the top of the square. Cox won it down. Is it a mark taken? Called to play on by Courtney Gibson. Handball goes back and rushed behind by the Southern Saints. Courtney Cox thought she might have taken the mark there at absolute point-blank range. It would have been a dream start for Melbourne Uni, trying to close this large margin. As now the Southern Saints nearly cough it up from full back. The little kick to herself was no good and she put herself absolutely under the pump. They eventually get it back to half back and a good little kick comes to the outer side wing in Munn, who marks all on her own. Gives it over to Mackie. They're one out the Saints if they keep rolling. Mackie elects to go back. Has it all in front of her. You can hear the calls for the ball through the effects mic as we go long. Duffin had a big fist on it. Bruton got it up to Carney, wriggled out of a tackle. Carney got it up to Gillespie Jones. She uses her body, but O'Neill's doing well. O'Neill finally gets it. Gillespie Jones strips her. No free kick paid. Comes out to the Saints in Kais. Kais goes to half forward. Mark taken by McCarthy. 55 out inside the square. Goes inside 50, a good little chip kick up, back with the flight, nearly taken by a Saints player. Tried to claim the mark was Sherlaw, not paid. She's dispossessed. They want holding the ball, the Muggers fans, and I reckon it might have been there. Handball's come back to Sard on the ground. That was a hospital handball if I've ever seen one. She was on her knees, didn't want it, and the reprieve came via high contact from a Saints defender. And Sard can just take her time, go back, gives a little handball into Trend, and Trend goes up to Riddell inner side underneath the Norman Goss grandstand.
Grandstand side wing. Just had a bit too much on it for Grierson. Tackles her opponent on that grandstand side. McCarthy slung to the ground as she got her kick away. In the middle of Adcon Stadium, fierce clash of bodies. Trend taken to the ground. And we will have...
holding the ball.
Well, I was going to say ball up, but ball the call. And it will go the way. Just waiting to say, no, it's going the way of Melbourne Uni. So Trend takes it, goes long up towards Gillespie Jones territory. This is one player they really need to stand up and be influential in the final turn. They kick long into the right forward pocket, too far for Gibson. And taking a strong mark in defence is O'Neill.
So O'Neill's been pretty good early in the last stages of the last quarter. Little kick came into Shannon by herself. And Shannon takes a mark under her knees, does well. Goes back. Little kick was no good off the boot. It was very lucky because it came right off the side. Kai's just happened to be there and takes a mark at centre-half back. She goes out to the grandstand side. The little kick, it's a good one, gets her player in Vesely. And Vesely now goes back. Long kick up the wing, goes hunting. Mark nearly taken by Segenary. Free kick paid anyway to the Saints for holding. Not going to Segenary this one though. This one instead going to Sherlaw. So either way, Southern Saints ball. Sherlaw taking her time here, knows that they've got the buffer. Melbourne Uni have to do the chasing. And Sherlaw does well, captain-wise, but Gillespie Jones came flying in and intercepted. Now Bruton's got it off the ground. Goes forward. Mark nearly taken by Gibson. Brought it to ground. Got it out to a runner. Snapped forward. And now Gibson's on the end of it. A favourable bounce would be great here for Gibson. She keeps it in front off the ground. Snaps it nearly. Keeps it in bound almost. But that was some trying defence by Selena Carlson. Didn't give Gibson an inch. And Carlson gets a pat on the back for her defensive efforts there that keep the Saints in front. And it's a 50-metre penalty paid from the ensuing kick out of defence. And all of a sudden, the Southern Saints are at half back and they can rebound with it at foray inside 50.
So the ball brought out to the outer side wing again. Playing good possession football, the Saints. Drennan with the mark. Kicks long, looking for Mackie at half forward in the front spot. Couldn't bring it to ground. Over the football's Julian. And a free kick for in the back. Mackie to take the free kick. Kicks in short. Oh, touched by Julian on the mark. McCarthy couldn't trap it. Riddell onto Julian. Not the best handball going the way of Gillespie Jones. She gets the handball out. Now Drennan gets a kick away. Inside forward, 50. Greiser, juggling mark, couldn't take it. Ebb got it out to Grierson. Now they clear to the outer side. They haven't got many targets as Lucas Rod intercepts inside forward. 50 Munn couldn't take the mark. Held on to without the football. Maybe good work by Sard. And we will have a ball up 45 metres out directly in front. Southern Saints goal time ticking away, Xavier, for Melbourne Uni in this clash.
Sure is, and that rain is just starting to get a little bit harder, so Melbourne Uni will really try and play on quickly and surge it forward as much as they can. They need a goal quickly.
That they do. As the ball spills free here, and now Trent's got it at half back. Her quick kick goes up the line, looking for her player. It's spilled out the back. It was Whitford she was looking for, just couldn't complete the mark. The Saints rebound, but cut off again. Comes in again to Trend, the play setter, and Trend just goes to where the ball wanted to go, but cut off by the Southern Saints at half back. And they come back around. This kick has really put O'Neill under the pump. She's being chased down by Runnels, who's a little bit lighter on her feet. Makes a ground to O'Neill, gets it off her, puts O'Neill on the ground, and then Runnels does well enough to lay a shepherd while Gibson goes inside 50. Well done there by Ellie Runnels and Gibson teaming up. Ellie Runnels, though, just couldn't do it all on her own. The Gibson kick was pretty good. Was hunting Abertangelo, but eventually out of bounds, so throw in.
So impressed with the Southern Saints' work rate to get behind the ball. They're getting numbers deep inside their defensive 50, really trying to clog it up.
Gillespie Jones might have pushed her player underneath in the ruck there, not paid. Wants to get her hands back on it. Streaming through here is Shannon for the Saints. Runnels again, does well, keeps the ball in front of her. Shannon lays a good tackle. Could have been in the back. A couple wanted ball. There was nothing doing, said the umpire. Mark, is it taken by Bertangelo? She might have had a finger underneath it on the turf. It came back in. The ball went to Whitford. She got it away. And now Cox has got it. Scoring position. Scotch throws on her right boot. That's Cox. Peels it across the face of goal, and eventually the ball bounces three times out of bounds. So after all that, not even a minus score to Melbourne Uni as time continues to tick away. We travel deep into the last quarter.
You really feel like Melbourne Uni need to capitalise from this forward entry 50 here. They need a goal desperately.
I think the girls know it. As the couple wanted to have it. It spills free though here to Daniak. Daniak gets it away to Bertangelo. She just lobs it up. Garner flew, brought it down in front. The Saints are here to mop up. Bruton did well though. Bruton again keeps it in front of her. Gets the ball, finds herself in a tiny little bit of space. Not enough though. The kick was cut off by Guttridge. And Guttridge here from the Saints. Greiser comes flying off. It's Kais that got on the end of a handball from Greiser. See, kick forward. They're on the wing on the grandstand side. But Melbourne Uni cut it off. This kick comes inbound to Daniak. Daniak gave it away. Runnels gave it to Riddell. Riddell with a big, long torpedo punt. It's a goal. Melbourne Uni might not be done just yet as they close the margin to 4 goals. 10 minutes left in the last.
Credit when credit's due. They've been desperate, Melbourne Uni, to try and score. They finally have. Just looks like that breeze has picked up a little bit here. So this game is certainly not over. They're playing with a smaller forward line. So they're going to be looking for those long, forward, fast 50 entries every time now. Every opportunity they can get, they'll try and get it in there and score quick.
Oh, they've just been chipping away, waiting for the Saints defence to break down. And Ash Riddell just using the breeze to her advantage. The first goal for Melbourne Uni since the 16-minute mark of the second term. So they went goalless during the third quarter. Ball back in the middle. Kelly gets a clearing kick for the Saints to half forward. Melbourne Uni need goals and need goals quickly, as the Saints at the moment have that spot booked with Collingwood next week in a preliminary final. All before Melbourne Uni with 10 minutes left in this clash. Is it 10 minutes left in their season, or can they pull a bit of magic out? They need 4 quick goals in a row. They go up towards half forward. Bruton in towards Abertangelo in the middle. Handball over the top. They've got the numbers. Bateman tackled without it. Umpire says yes.
Oh, she was lucky there, Bateman.
Just got rid of it and played it well. So an opportunity to go inside forward 50 now. Needs to move it quickly. Every second costing Melbourne Uni. Juggled mark. Great work by Fitzpatrick. And the Saints, another opportunity to clear.
Garner tried to get on the chest of that. She thought Fitzpatrick might have come underneath it, but cut it off well. O'Neill gave it in outbound to the Saints. They got looking for McDonald. Completes a mark well with 2 grabs at it. Molly McDonald has it. Halfback wing territory for the Saints on the outer side. Underneath the broadcast position. Goes just up the line. Looking for Voigt. Voigt doesn't complete the mark, but did well to keep possession. Got it to Stewart. Stewart then gets it to Drennan. Drennan's little kick forward goes out into space. Voigt's the only one near it. She wins the foot race. Carney sets upon her, though. And that kick then coughed up. Is it Runnels with it at defensive level? Gillespie Jones flies in, possesses the ball, dragged down in a tackle. Umpire has a look. Ball up. Inside Southern Saints attacking area. As we've nearly travelled 12 minutes here, only 8 to play. You wonder if time will beat Muggers to this because they need to score goals and quickly. They have another go at it as the handball went out to Carney, who didn't get possession and saw it out of bounds. Ball up underneath the pavilion, outer side wing. Melbourne Uni 4 goals down, under 8 minutes to play. That's the equation in front of them as the ball comes back inbound via the throw in. Underneath it was Drennan. She gets set upon by some Melbourne Uni players, and holding the ball is going to be paid, yes. So Melbourne Uni get a little chance. It's a very, very slightly open window, but it's open nonetheless. They play risky football because they have to. They go in the centre to Duffin. Duffin and Bruton teamed up well, but the handball to one of each was intercepted. Bruton hacks it off the ground, going forward to Duffin. Lucas Rod's there to mop up, though, for the Saints. They has to retreat, and now Melbourne Uni are inside 50, desperately trying to work a goal. The Saints stop it up, as there's now 7 minutes to play, 4 goals to score. It's getting a very tricky proposition for Muggers.
Well, in the second term, they kicked 3 goals in 8 minutes. So they'll need to replicate that and find another one in between as well. It's inside their forward 50, but you'd think over the next couple of minutes they need a goal to keep active in this contest. Abatangelo slung off the football. Duffin, desperate. McDonald bumped off. High up and under kick in the middle of Adcon Stadium. Good work that time from Moore. Trend taken to ground by Greiser. Ball the call. Didn't have the time that she's normally had off that half back line. And Greiser's tackling pressure has been ferocious today. She's led the way with 4 goals for the Saints. Integral with 2 goals during the second term. Getting her way out of trouble as Julian finds Ebb. And Ebb will bring it along the outer side wing.
Ebb just has to go forward, and that's exactly what she does. O'Neill nearly completes the intercept mark, but it spills free. Jazzy Garner gets on the end of a handball. The kick's not great, but it goes to the top of the square. Had it in front. Now roving it was Bateman. Gave it away. Bateman gets it back. Bateman goals for Melbourne Uni. There's 3 goals left to kick. 6 minutes left to play. Not done yet here at Adcon Oval.
Still in the game, Melbourne Uni, and that was really impressive there. They kicked over the Southern Saints zone defence on the wing, just gave them every opportunity there. O'Neill's been really good at reading the play, but she just couldn't affect the contest there enough to hold it in. Melbourne get it out the back, and they're still alive, Anthony.
They are. 18 points the margin. They have 5 minutes to go. So again, tight finish in this finals match. Reminiscent of a couple of last weekend, the Tigers finish against the Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs through to a grand final now. But Uni, here's another opportunity. Abatangelo, can she sneak the handball out? Whitford could have been taken too high. She's down. Gillespie Jones goes long. Inside forward 50. Gibson in the front spot. Second effort. Can she get it to Riddell? Riddell in the front spot. Gets a handball away. Gillespie Jones again working hard. Guttridge also working well defensively. They try and chip the kick along the ground. Carney taking the ground in the tackle, and we'll have a ball up. More importantly, inside forward 50 again for Melbourne Uni. The Saints needing to hold on in this contest. For our SEN2 listeners, tune across to vfl.com.au for the live video stream, or in the app, go to the watch button. We're just about to cross over at 1:30 for our SEN2 listeners. Or click on the app button and you'll find another couple of broadcasts of this game as well. But we'll be farewelling our SEN2 listeners very shortly. Inside forward 50, Ebb, dispossessed. Saints working hard in defence. Kais tried to kick it out of the air. Carney working hard. She knows that the season is slowly slipping away from Melbourne Uni. And we're in the last 3.5 minutes of this semi-final clash.
Time the enemy here for Melbourne Uni, not just their opponents in the Saints, who are putting up a pretty good charge too. They still lead as Gillespie Jones literally scrumming the ball forward with a 3-way tackle. Eventually, umpire puts a stop to it and it's a ball up. Up we go. Gillespie Jones rucking. She's bullish. She's doing it all. Nearly getting forward was Carney. The ball does spill free and gain a little bit of territory. Abertangelo threw herself at it. Doesn't get possession. It's desperate, willing, trying football from both sides. The Saints are making it a scrap. Melbourne Uni have all the likely culprits around the ball. They got Garner.
18 points the margin, and we farewell our SEN2 audience. You can watch it on vfl.com.au.
Now Duffin from centre half forward. It's a big up and under kick. It gains no territory. Gillespie Jones there again. Sandwich tackled. And again, it's a ball up. Centre half forward for Melbourne Uni. And with 2 minutes 20 left to play, time might just beat Muggers as they keep pushing inside. It was Bruton to Riddell, another handball. This one came up to Ebb, took a strong mark. She rushes back to a spot to take the kick. She's got Walsh free in the pocket. She's 50 out, right on the paint. She loads up, goes to the top of the square, and a big fist comes in from the Southern Saints by Clara Fitzpatrick. And that's a fist that'll win them the game, because that sucks more time out of the clock, brings a margin to 17 points. But it's 1 minute 40 left to play, and Melbourne Uni not able to kick the necessary 3 goals in that amount of time. Even with that kick intercepted by Ebb, but Mackey then cut it off as the mark was incompleted, brought down in a contest. And the Southern Saints at half-back flank position, rebound.
Xavier, what a defensive effort it's been by the Saints during this final term just to curb Uni's comeback.
Yeah, it certainly has. They've been really good at pushing numbers behind the ball and making a real congestion back there. And once again, we're seeing that play out in this last minute and a half.
So taking a ground, Kais dropping back in that defensive 50. Kat Phillips off the half-back line. Lucas Rod has worked well. Kelly O'Neill, Fitzpatrick. They've all played their role as a very strong back six. And free kicks been found. It will go the way of the Saints. And we tick down towards the finale of this clash. Southern Saints booking a berth versus Collingwood in the preliminary final next Sunday at Adcon Stadium. It will be an 11:45 game here at Adcon Stadium. Guys, just ticking down the clock, going backwards. They know that the game is run and won. The Saints supporters just ticking down on the time clock now. 5 seconds left to go in this clash. And what a result it has been for the Southern Saints as they gear up for an AFLW season next year. It's the perfect warm-up for them, having won through to the preliminary final in this game. 10-5-65. They have defeated Melbourne Uni 7-6-48 on the Choose Tap scoreboard. Xavier Maloney, your thoughts on this clash?
Done the great game at Northport Oval. Really impressed with the Southern Saints. They just looked to have a little bit more pace across the ground. They, in the first half in particular, were able to change the angles and move the ball across the ground, which just opened up and exposed the lack of pace from Melbourne Uni. Credit to Melbourne Uni, though. They did not give up right until the final siren. They never gave in, played some really good contested football, but unfortunately couldn't quite get themselves back into the game.
Goal kickers for today, Sophie Abertangelo kicked 1. Ash Riddell kicked 1. Bateman 2. This is for Melbourne Uni. Jazz Garner kicked 2, looked good, and Jenna Bruton got 1 of her own. For the victors, the Southern Saints, Emma Mackey, Kat Phillips, Melissa Key, Coys, Courtney Munn, Kelly O'Neill, and Kate Sherlaw all kicking singles, while Caitlin Graja kicked 4, was one of the best on ground all day, including a massive tackle late on the wing when Melbourne Uni were going forward and the game was still there to be played. And they were amongst the better players, those goal scorers too, Anthony.
Well, what a clash it was today. Southern Saints in that third term, 4-0 in the third term, and winning their way through to the preliminary final. As we mentioned, next week, Sunday, 11:45, it is Collingwood versus the Southern Saints in a preliminary final. They will face the winner of that game will go through to the Western Bulldogs in the grand final on September 22. Blair Morton and Xavier Maloney, thank you very much for your assistance today in the broadcast. What a game that we saw, and a dominant performance by the Saints to win through to the preliminary final next week.
Thanks, Anthony. 17 goals. Great to see VFLW football in such good state.
Yes, and we farewell our video stream audience for today. We'll be back with our video stream of the preliminary final next week at 11:45 here from Adcon Stadium. We bid you farewell as well.